What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Badger Bill YouTube channel. Happy New Year! It is officially 2022. Today, we are going to go ahead and do the single most important mod you could possibly do to your Ford EcoBoost, whether it be an ST Focus like what I got, or anything that has the EcoBoost motors in it. The Mishimoto Crankcase Ventilation Oil Separator. But first, before we get into wrenching and doing all that, old Stormtrooper needs a bath. It's so dirty. Oh my god. Cobb. Ugh. It's gross. Alright, now that we are clean of all the road grime and salt, we'll go ahead and get this thing racked, get the hood open, and gets ready to remove the necessary parts in order to install the Mishimoto Oil Separator. Since this installation requires removing of the intake, I'm also going to be installing this Cobb Sound Symposer Delete Kit, because I'll have the intake off, so it would just make sense to, you know, put that on as well. Well, it is clearly disgusting under here, but we're going to remedy that, most of that today. As you can see, I've got the engine cover off. I do that for one main reason, is that big plastic cover covering all this retains all that engine heat, and it just really does a good job of making all your wire loom real brittle, a whole lot faster than it normally would. In order to get this off, we're going to have to go ahead and disconnect the sound symposer, the throttle body, all the vacuum lines and harnesses running to the intake, as well as the PCV, which is actually going in from the back. And I will show that when we get to that point. Let's do it! Alright, now that we got her off, you can actually see what we got going on. So like I said, you got your throttle body, your crankcase ventilation, throttle body plug-in, and then these two are also snapped to the back of the intake, so you got to pop those off. This here, yep, that guy. If you're wondering why an oil separator is so important, let me show you. You see all that sludge built up on them valves? That is because these motors are direct injection, so there's no fuel running through the intake runners, which means the only thing that is going in there is all the crankcase ventilation, which, as you can see, there's a good amount of oil residue. And that's bad. That is very bad. That can cause premature engine failure. So, we're going to clean all this oily residue up out of the charge pipe and out of the intake, which is already juicing on the floor. Once we get all this stuff cleaned up, I will go ahead and bring you guys back and show you how we need to scavenge the connector off of here and off of there.
A few moments later.
A slightly closer look at the crankcase ventilation system on these here 2-liter EcoBoost. It's not your traditional poured off the valve cover with PCV, but there's actually this manifold looking device that's right on the side of the block, and that is the crankcase ventilation port. So what you have to do is So you have to take your razor blade and cut this nylon off, leaving that green fitting there. And once you do that, come over here and grab one of the supplied lines with your Mishimoto oil separator kit, and then clamp it on. Alright, so as you can see, out of the way, we've got our new Mishimoto supplied crankcase ventilation hose running down, and I've got it speed tied to this here harness to keep it up out of the way of the shift linkage and whatnot, and now it's dangling down in the general vicinity of where the mount is located. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing up in the air. I'm going to take that charge pipe off and clean the oil out of it, and then we will proceed. Real quick, guys, I also wanted to thank each and every one of you. We hit over 500 subscribers this year. This is only the second year of the channel being up, and that's huge to me. To every single one of the 504 of you, y'all rock. Thank you. Alright, now, went ahead and got the catch can mounted up to the mounting bracket. Got both the in and out fittings installed. I also used just a dab of Loctite on these, just to make sure that they're not going to rattle loose. This does have a Cobb V2 rear mount, so things are a little bit more vibraty. But another thing I ran into is because I have these here Badger built charge pipes that I made when I first got the car. The bracket actually does not come out far enough to clear that, so I had to improvise and run a little bit of a spacer. So I'm going to go ahead and get these hooked to those and then bolt it up. Alright, so there it is. Now you're going to want to make sure that this hose, the in hose, is going to the green fitting on the engine. And then the out port is the one that's going to go to the port on the intake. We're going to go ahead, get the charge pipes back installed, let this thing down, and put the intake back on after getting rid of this thing. Stupid sound symposer. Here we go. Sound symposer. Stupid device that makes engine noises in the cabin. We're going to get rid of it. So in order to do so, we got these 3 8mm. And go ahead and get those ripped off quick. And you just pop her off. Unfortunately, the Cobb sound symposer block off did not come with a gasket, so be sure to grab the one off your sound symposer before discarding it. Go ahead and take our gasket. Slide into our block off plate just like that. Now the kit comes with 2 options for the port on the block off plate. You either have nipple, pipe thread nipple end, so that way you can run some sort of a vacuum line, whether it be a boost reference or whatever, or you have your Allen block off, which is what I'm going to use because I don't have any reason to use that at this time. Alright, now take the bolts you used for the sound symposer, bolt on your Cobb block off plate. There we go. Installed. Now, naturally, doing that on the car is obviously going to take you a little bit longer, but it just so happened to work out this way that we were doing one So while we head it off, we do the other. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing back down and get the intake back on. Alright, so we are ready to put the intake back on, but we have more parts. I've got some Cobb solid shift cable bushings, and they happen to be staring me in the face right now, so I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and get them replaced right now. Like the way she works, she always puts me first. There we go. Alright, once you get the old bushing off, you need to go ahead and try to break all the rest of the black plastic off. Just well, help me understand. Ha-ha! I got it. Alright, so now this guy, you're going to take your new Cobb solid bushing, take it apart, you just unscrew alright, now once you get that off, take your little bushing, slide her down in there, just like that. Okay. Slide that right on in there, like such. Go ahead and screw the bottom side back on. Just so like that. No more play. Ta-da! Alright, one more. Ta-da! Alright, solid Cobb shifter cable bushings installed. Now let's get this intake in. Torqued. And there you have it. We got our Mishimoto oil separator installed. We got our Cobb sound symposer delete kit installed, and our Cobb solid shifter cable bushings installed. So now the only thing left to do is to twist its tail and make sure everything's still happy. Success. And there you have it, folks. Mishimoto oil separator installed. Cobb sound symposer delete installed. Cobb shifter cable solid bushings installed. If you're still here, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you sticking around to the last. Words are hard. I cannot express enough how much I appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. And if you are still here, go ahead and leave me a like to let me know that you're still here. YouTube algorithms, you know, it's hard to tell who's actually watching the whole video and who's not. But since you're still here, I'll show you the next update to the old Stormtrooper. Coming very, very soon, we have ourselves a brand new intercooler for the Stormtrooper. What? If you're not already subscribed, you might want to consider doing that. That way you don't miss this getting installed. And again, thank you all for watching. Till next time, guys. Peace.